Caitlin Clark not coming back tomorrow.
Like Stephanie White has made it clear, Caitlin Clark will not play tomorrow.
How about Caitlin? Is she going to be ready for tomorrow?
Oh, not for tomorrow, no.
A startling event just occurred. The WNBA's face and the main draw for viewers, Caitlin Clark, will not be playing against the Atlanta Dream. And believe me, it's a clue that things are growing worse behind the scenes, not simply another game she's skipping.
Caitlin Clark make a return, and they gotta figure out a way. I know I can't hate to stress this, but they gotta figure out a way to finesse away.
What precisely is happening? Why is the Fever going in this direction? What does this signify for Caitlin's future, her team, and the WNBA as a whole?
Stephanie White did talk today, gave an update.
We're going over everything in great detail in today's video, from head coach Stephanie White's most recent report to the league's exploding reactions.
Clark said Thursday, after being reevaluated over the weekend, she could possibly return for Tuesday's tilt. She would not rush back.
This is not something you want to miss. However, before we dive in, be sure to like this video and follow the channel. To ensure you don't miss any breaking news like this, switch on the bell and leave a remark with a 100% CC if you're still riding with Caitlin Clark. Let's begin.
Stephanie White spoke at Fever practice. Stephanie White back around the team. She had missed the last game due to personal reasons. Austin Kelly stepped in, did a great job.
Caitlin Clark will not challenge the Atlanta Dream in court. Additionally, head coach Stephanie White thinks that choosing the best long-term choice is more important than simply relaxing. Clark was permitted to resume some basketball activities, including restricted practice, following her evaluation over the weekend, but it does not imply that she is prepared for the game.
You know, I think for us, it's we've got to work, both her and Sophie, back into are they in basketball condition.
Coach White was unambiguous. Clark's basketball skills are still lacking. The main distinction, she clarified, is that although Caitlin has begun increasing her activity level by engaging in some shooting and light drills, she has not yet received clearance for full contact 5-on-5 play. Going through drills is one thing. It's different to hit physical matchups and game-paced lateral maneuvers.
Stephanie White said Monday, Clark is, quote, ready to start ramping back up and has been allowed to participate in some, but not all of practice. Quote, we're going to be smart, we're going to be cautious, and we're going to play the long game and work her back in very intentionally.
Stephanie White underlined that the group will use caution and intelligence. She reiterated the idea of playing the long game, which means they are considering Caitlin's general well-being rather than just the immediate desire to win games. This goes beyond the game tomorrow. It concerns the entire season.
You do have to wonder if this is something that has been nagging her. Stephanie White said it was a new injury. There was some question.
She had a minor quad strain in the preseason that was well managed. Now here's the issue. She was cleared to play just before the start of the season, but then re-aggravated.
Particularly because this is an injury. According to reports, Clark has already gotten worse more than once this year, so for the time being, the Fever is keeping her back. Head coach Stephanie White said that Caitlin Clark has not been authorized for full contact basketball exercise, despite the fact that she has been gradually returning to light practice.
Both of them being out for long periods of time, you've got to work your way back in to being game ready. Fever schedule. Tomorrow night, Dream not coming back.
Engaging in regulated shooting and one-on-one exercises. To be clear though, she hasn't taken part in any 5 full-speed scrimmages. She will not be able to play in a WNBA game without the green light, especially against a club like the Dream. That plays with pace and physicality. That means no full-court action, no high-intensity play, and no lateral movement under pressure.
Caitlin Clark's status for the game today, or game tomorrow, is official. Her status is official. And it is, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all, because at the end of the day, Caitlin being healthy in September means more than Caitlin being healthy in June.
The injury is a persistent quadriceps problem. This isn't simply a small adjustment, it's something that has gotten worse and is obviously taking longer to heal than anyone had expected. White claims that the Fever are actually taking their time with Clark and don't want to hurry her return, since that would be disastrous for not only this season, but maybe her entire rookie campaign. This strategy is wise, but it also raises concerns. The Indiana Fever are fully aware of the stakes.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. So happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlin Clark affect
seems to be crazier than year one.
Caitlin Clark is more than just a player. She is the team's focal point and the current top attraction in women's basketball. Since she has been sidelined, ratings, ticket sales, and even WNBA media coverage have significantly decreased. That is quantifiable and not conjecture.
White said. The same goes for Sophie Cunningham, who has been limited to just 4 games this season due to an ankle injury. White said that Cunningham was also limited in Monday's practice.
The cost of tickets for the Fever games without Clark has significantly decreased, and there is almost no longer any media excitement. The frightening issue is that it goes beyond simply missing this game. According to Stephanie White's speech, Clark might miss a number of games going forward. There was a definite maybe response when asked if Clark will be prepared for the upcoming game versus the Liberty. If you were thinking this was just a one-night precaution, you might want to saddle up, because when coaches start using phrases like cautious long-term and building up, that's code for don't anticipate her back anytime soon. This is developing into something more significant.
Well, it looks like a reactivation of the initial injury she had in preseason, which was also minor. So 2 weeks is the right time frame to really shut her down, let it rest, control the potential swelling that can develop in the thigh.
The Indiana Fever are facing a crucial test of their depth as Caitlin Clark is declared out and Sophie Cunningham is still recovering from her own ankle injury. This is about how the team's entire structure changes when 2 important players are absent, not just about losing star power. The Fever is currently being pushed to change on the fly. The offensive flow drastically shifts without Clark. She is not only a scorer, but also a playmaker, a floor commander, and the center of attention for opposition defenses. Players like Alia Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hall are under more pressure to step up when she isn't there, and they've stepped up thus far.
As the Indiana Fever put out the report, the status update for the first preseason game against the Washington Mystics, and Caitlin Clark, the only player on it, listed as questionable with a left leg injury.
The most intriguing aspect of this situation is the temporary inclusion of Aaron McDonald. Boston in particular has been excellent, maintaining high efficiency while encountering double teams more regularly without Clark garnering defensive attention. McDonald, who was signed as a temporary replacement, has been making waves with her average of 9 points, 4 assists, and 5 steals per game. She has added defensive vigor and hustle, quickly becoming a fan favorite. But there's a catch. She can only remain on the roster until either Caitlin or Sophie return.
The Indiana Fever have just about, they've kept the flow. Like, even if they lose their next 2 games, they might lose even with her.
That puts Indiana in a difficult situation. They are striking a balance between immediate performance and long-term roster planning. McDonald's rise is complicating the final choice, but according to the regulations as they stand, one of these 3 players will be left off when the roster fills up again. All of this indicates that Clark's absence is having an impact on the team's chemistry rotations and potentially even their season outlook, making it more than just a personal setback.
She's not coming back. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this, but I wanted to touch on it. After facing the Atlanta Dream on Tuesday, the Fever won't play again until Saturday when they host the Liberty, giving the team ample practice time to see whether Clark and Cunningham are inching closer to their returns.
Let's now discuss the reasons for the Indiana Fever's cautious approach despite the demand to use their top player. It may appear at first that this is only a single injury, but when you look closer, you find that the Fever are dealing with something much more significant than a single game. Caitlin Clark is currently their entire brand, not simply their best player. Every time she's on the court, it makes headlines.
Caitlin Clark is the driving force behind the interest in the Fever and the interest in the WNBA at large.
Clips that she scores go viral every time. The Fever are defending not only her, but also the most prized asset in the WNBA. And this is the harsh reality. Quad injuries are infamously complex and misleading. During light drills, a player may feel okay one day, but the danger of re-injury increases the moment they push at game speed or make contact. Coach White uses terms like progression movement patterns and rhythm for this reason. They won't put her in the fire before they know exactly how her body will react.
We've got to work both Clark and Sophie back in. Are they in basketball condition? What does it mean to go live? It's one thing to do some shooting drills. It's another thing to go out on the floor, get back into movement, patterns, rhythm, timing. We're picking and choosing the things that can be in practice so we can see their progress.
Remember that this is the same league that depends on Caitlin Clark's health for national broadcasts, crowded stadiums, and sponsorship agreements. When she sits, TV viewership declines, ticket prices fall, and casual fans leave. This occurred right after her injury, according to The Fever. Tickets for a game that would have cost $300 plummeted to $8 all of a sudden. There's no coincidence there. That is Caitlin Clark's strength. What is the Fever doing now? Later, delay now dominates. It is evident that Coach White and the medical team have chosen to gradually rebuild Clark.
Right, she's itching to get back. This is a young lady who hasn't missed a game in 8 years, going back to her high school career. So she's not used to being in this position where she has to watch her teammates play while she's on the sidelines, on the bench. Now, based on all your expertise and quad injuries that you've witnessed over the years, what is the timeline for her to recover from this injury?
Allowing her to practice in bits and pieces, observing her reaction, and only bringing her back when she is ready to give it her all. An early comeback that results in a season-ending injury is the last thing they want. Fans want to see her. So yes, it's annoying, but this is a wise financial decision. The Fever are working to become a contender for years, not just for a single June victory. This squad and the majority of supporters know deep down that Caitlin Clark cannot achieve it from the bench or on the injured list.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. So happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
Which of the highlights presented by Alexis was your favorite? Let's check out these highlights. Hopefully there ain't no music, man. Oh, gotta kill that. Shout out to Aaliyah Boston, man. She's been showing up and showing out too this upcoming basketball season. Now they did launch, so for those of you guys, I meant to make a video about this last week when this news came out. So
when will Caitlin Clark be back? Every Fever fan is asking that question. And even though there isn't a confirmed date yet, there are obvious clues as to what will happen next. Clark is just beginning to ramp back up, according to Coach Stephanie White. She is working on it, but not completely. Fans are frustrated that there aren't yet any full scrimmages or real-time game reps, but the coaching staff is exercising caution because pushing her too quickly, particularly after aggravating the injury multiple times, could jeopardize her long-term health and possibly ruin the entire season.
Here's the thing, most refs aren't going to blow the whistle in that situation. And I understand the frustration that I think comes the most with officiating is the inconsistencies of officiating. Big injury news in the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark will be sidelined for at least 2 weeks.
2 weeks is the right number.
Caitlin Clark is going to miss the next 2 weeks with a quad strain.
She was cleared to play just before the start of the season, but then re-aggravated. And here's the problem with a quad strain. A lot of inflammation can develop around this small tear.
After the game against the Atlanta Dream, which she has already ruled out, let's have a look at the calendar. The Fever don't play again until Saturday against the New York Liberty. It's a major game that is broadcast nationally. That might be the goal for her comeback, but some pundits are speculating that the team might hold off until June 17th when Indiana plays the Connecticut Sun to give Clark a few more practice days and lower the chance of re-injury.
You do have to wonder if this is something that has been nagging her. Stephanie White said it was a new injury. There was some question.
She had a minor quad strain in the preseason that was well managed. Now here's the issue. She was cleared to play just before the start of the season, but then re-aggravated.
Additionally, this is a strategic approach. There is a lot of emphasis on the Liberty game against the Sun contest. It's a little easier to handle and might be used as a warm-up to assist Clark in regaining rhythm without the same emphasis or ferocity. Here's another way to observe her influence when she returns.
Let me show you an example of why Caitlin Clark fans are claiming that the WNBA not stepping in to protect their cash cow, the WNBA not stepping in to protect their only draw, their only star, could have led to this injury.
Clark's return to the field should immediately improve the team's performance in terms of both scoring and player efficiency overall. For instance, without Clark passing the ball to her, Aaliyah Boston's shot attempts have been cut in half. When now Clark gets back, Boston might have an offensive outburst. Unquestionably, the two click, and their two-woman game is one of Indiana's main advantages. In summary, the return is imminent, and its timing may change the course of the season.
Well, it looks like a reactivation of the initial injury she had in preseason, which was also minor. So 2 weeks is the right time frame to really shut her down, let it rest, control the potential swelling that can develop in the thigh.
This is where things get really serious. The WNBA as a whole is affected by Caitlin Clark's absence, which is not only apparent but also reveals a harsh fact that the league has been attempting to hide. Let's face it, the WNBA's momentum at the moment is based nearly exclusively on one player.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. So happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
The statistics, Caitlin Clark, don't lie. Arenas sell out when she performs. You can enter for less than $10 when she doesn't. YouTube video content stops. The game isn't covered on SportsCenter. When she is not playing, there is a significant decrease in betting activity. Yes, individuals placing money on games. Furthermore, despite the league's abundance of skill, none of it is as effective as Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the driving force behind the interest in the Fever and the interest in the WNBA at large.
They're 4-6. Then they go and play. She comes back for the Sun, the Valkyries game. They're 6-6. And being 6-6 on the season is what the Aces were last season. Being 6-6 on the season is fine. They have another 32 games left to play.
It's not a slight on the other players that fans aren't showing up for anyone else the way they do for her. The fact is that Caitlin needed just one season to do what others had failed to do for 10 years. Because of this, a lot of individuals are beginning to pose the awkward question: what would happen if she continued to miss games?
Ryan Howard was all over Caitlin Clark. Elbows, shoulders, pushing on her, applying pressure to that leg, which led up to this injury.
That would be 4 games that she is going to miss at minimum.
What occurs if this injury persists? The league cannot afford for her to leave. Not right now. Not when she's attracting millions of new followers, attracting sponsors, and providing women's basketball with its greatest ever spotlight. Legends like Dawn Staley have acknowledged it in public. Women's basketball has taken off thanks to Caitlin Clark. Even though she's only just started, she's already being referred to as one of the best at it. Please share your opinions in the comments section below. We read each and every one of them. And to ensure you don't miss a post, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell if you want to remain up to date on the most recent news, game analysis, and candid discussion on everything WNBA, especially Caitlin Clark. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you in the next.
Here's the thing, most refs aren't going to blow the whistle in that situation. And I understand the frustration that I think comes the most with officiating is the inconsistencies of officiating. Big injury news in the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark will be sidelined for at least 2 weeks.
2 weeks is the right number.
Caitlin Clark is going to miss the next 2 weeks with a quad strain.
She was cleared to play just before the start of the season, but then re-aggravated. And here's the problem with a quad strain. A lot of inflammation can develop around this small tear.